Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Dr. Benjamin Ritter. Dr. Ritter is the career and leadership coach, helps employees of the companies who are stuck at certain places which they are not supposed to be, navigate into the right departments, the right titles, with the right what they really want to do. That helps organizations to retain their employees and hopefully make them feel better. We are going to ask all that one. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Dr. Ritter. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully I have some newer success secrets that maybe aren't in your book. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, that's a secret. So I'm not going to tell you until you get the book. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So, Doctor, where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get into the career development and putting people in the right path?
Yeah, so I've always been an explorer. I've always been someone that was interested in improving and growing. But it was funny. I think I lost touch with that when I kind of just started reacting to career opportunities, which I think a lot of people do. So in every other area of my life, I was very much focused on what do I want? What do I need? How do I get it? But due to the recession and a few different things that happened with my career and things that came up, I ended up in a really good job. I experienced a lot of professional success, but I didn't feel successful. And I didn't make the connection. I didn't make the connection that I actually did not have control over where I ended up, or I didn't feel like I had control over it. So that led me to be resentful towards my work. It led me to not really be able to connect meaning with what I was doing. And so I eventually just realized what was going on, did a hard stop, and did a full audit on what I wanted to accomplish in the near future. What were my strengths and skill sets? What did I feel was meaningful? And with that information, stopped being reactive to jobs that came to me, promotions that came to me, jobs that were listed on job boards, but started to be proactive. And that led me to start crafting my current job to encompass leadership development and professional development. And eventually that path took me to launching my own business. And lo and behold, 4.5, 5 years later, a doctorate, an expert, a published author in the space, and working one-on-one with individuals and organizations to ensure that they don't get to where I was. I was a high achiever that was not doing good work because I was resentful and I did not feel connected to my work. So that I don't want that to happen again for anyone. I want everyone to feel like they can live for themselves in their career and in their life.
Many people, Dr. Ben, I have a permission to call you Ben?
Please, yeah.
That makes my job easy. He's a doctor and the Ritter. It's all good.
I asked my dad once why he called, why I didn't have a middle name. And he said, Benjamin Ritter was too long. And so I always try to say, call me Ben, please. It's short, it's easy, it's simple, straight to the point.
Okay, wonderful. Ben, do you feel from your experience, many people are stuck with a lot of potential and a lot of experience at the wrong place in their jobs?
We're not really taught to always be assessing where we want to go. And we're not empowered and basically told to be accountable for how happy we are at work. I think the story is you're happy at work because you have a good job. You're happy at work because someone makes you happy. You feel your work is meaningful because the organization does meaningful things. And that's not true, right? Emotions come from within us. Yes, they can be triggered by your environment. And so I think a lot of people tend to just float, even though maybe with some general direction. So they have a lot of, I wouldn't say untapped potential, but an untapped personalization of what they could create for themselves if they realized that they don't have to do the job that's written on the job description. They don't have to do the job that the person that was promoted out of it or left was doing before. That you actually have a lot of autonomy if you choose to grab hold of it and use it.
Wonderful. Doctor, I'm going to ask you a few tough questions from both sides, from the candidate side and also from the organization side. So because they both are doing that mistake to have the ideal match for the job. So let's start from the candidate sides. What are the top 3 missteps to avoid the mistakes the candidates do when they're choosing the job, being interviewed, and their acceptance for the position?
Yeah, there's a couple different stages, and I could probably give three for each. So I'll try to do one for each. So let's say when you're looking for a job, often people limit their search by either referrals, if they're lucky, I would say, or from job boards. And that is extremely limiting to what is out there. And instead, if you did a list of your dream organizations, 5 to 10, and then spent time engaging and networking with people at those organizations and those organizations themselves, because we can connect with anyone nowadays, you actually are building more career capital and potential by doing that for your future career and for right now. So that would be if you're looking for a job. Now, if you're interviewing for a job, one of the biggest mistakes I see is people, again, tend to react to the questions that are asked for them instead of being proactive to figure out what the interviewer is looking for, what the interviewer thinks of you, and also what you think of the organization itself. So what I would say is you need to answer their questions with a question of your own. So you use their questions as leverage to find out more about the organization and show your interest. So if someone asks you, tell me of a time you led a project, you go, tell me of a recent project that was led within this department. So you do that. You can also ask any question that they will ask of you. You can ask a question in response, say, tell me more. So you learn more about what they're thinking. And most importantly is, why do you think I'm a good fit for this role? Or what hesitations do you have for me within this role? So you're being proactive to really figure out, what are they looking for? Why would they buy you? And why would you buy them? And then in the post, I guess while you're in a job, I would say it's this idea of at every point in time, you become more confident in what you do. So you learn skills. You feel connected or not connected to the work based on how much work you have to do and what's in your perception of the work. And you develop new desires for novelty and challenge. And so those things that will constantly evolve and change while you're in a job. So a job is going to, by definition, get stale if you're growing in your professional career. So you always have to be aware of, why is your job feeling stale? Why are you feeling comfortable? And how do you adjust that to ensure that you are continuously challenging yourself, feel connected to the work, and are moving forwards into the career progression that you want? That might have been more than three.
I was thinking so much on this one while you were saying, because listening very carefully. I wish I knew this one 20 years ago, so that would have been solved when we were looking for a first, second, third job, that would have been get into the right job. You feel fulfilled and you feel contributing, because most of the people, they come from the job, they feel so tired. Why? Because they didn't spend the whole day, and they really wanted to be just working for the money part, not adding a value side on the most part. Am I wrong?
I think if you work for the money, then accept you're working for the money. So for me, like, working for the money isn't that meaningful. I have other values and pursuits. But for some people, let's say it is just about the money, because the money allows them to live a life that they want to live. They're happy with that. And they get a lot of joy from earning money for some reason. Now, I would examine why this person wants so much money, because wealth is actually the accumulation of money, not spending of money. So I'd be really curious to dive into that to see if it was due to validation or other reasons, social status, desires and needs, etc. But as a leader, if you have employees that only care about the money because that money allows their kid to go to school or join Little League, like, that value is more important than anything else that you could provide to that employee. That 5% raise or that merit bonus will change their life more than you giving them recognition for their job. So it's really important to understand what value someone actually desires to pull from their job. It could be money. Money's money's a thing. It's important. A lot of people use it for things that are meaningful to them. So I'd say it's not a good or bad thing. It's basically does this mean something to you?
That's good. Excellent. So what are your top 3 success secrets to engaging a client and producing results for them? So if I ask one of your previous client who has engaged you, see, everyone is working as the ideal job over there, or still is ongoing work after coaching or consulting done by you?
One of the most powerful aspects of coaching is that you have someone that cares about you and doesn't judge you and has no definition of who you are. So you have an expert that is there literally to serve you towards your goals, and not to judge you for them, and not to base their perception of you based on previous experiences. It's if you can show up in that way as a coach, a lot of magic can happen with inquiry, with curiosity, with self-compassion, and then also a little bit of accountability as well. That's just in general one of the greatest powers of coaching. The other thing, right, is the financial investment and the intention that person then dedicates to their own professional growth. But for me personally, I kind of combined this idea of going to school. So I'm kind of a forever student. I have too many letters after my name. And my mom was in education, so that's probably why too. It's this idea of going to school. So you're doing work, you're writing down personalized worksheets that I created for you. You're building up basically a portfolio, a book of who you are and what you're trying to accomplish and your own epiphanies. And doing that type of work, writing things down in that self-reflection outside of a coaching session, it creates an added level of intention and focus and energy investment into your growth, into your goals, and leads to a lot more epiphanies, I would say. It's basically you're creating a life around yourself that is focused on what you want to achieve for yourself, instead of just 1 hour every single week or one book, of 30 minutes reading every single day or something like that. It's not as powerful. So this idea of doing worksheets and curriculum, then the compassion and the showing up in a way that has with the level of curiosity. And I think honestly, it's also just, you probably know this too, when you work with enough clients, you tend to, and I've had a lot of, even though I'm younger, I guess I've had a lot of experiences. I spent a lot of my time exploring different career options, diving into the field, the research, the non-research people's perspectives. You just have a little of kind of an innate gut feeling a lot of the times, and an instinct. So I think those three things connected allow me to alter not just, I guess, actions, but also behavior, mindsets, and programming and such.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. How the Growth Hacking Secrets community, people who are watching this right now, how they can support you?
Connect with me on LinkedIn. Send me a quick message. I'll go to my website. I produce free content on YouTube. I have a podcast called the Live for Yourself Revolution. New episodes at least once a week, sometimes twice. I'll do interviews with guests that are living for themselves, as well as I'll do short snippets called Fearless Fridays, which are just pieces of wisdom. But most importantly, just connect. I'd love to have a conversation, to hear what's going on, and see if I can add some value to you.
The website is benjamin-ritter.com. There's no doctor in the website name itself. I just want to remind you when you're watching this. So Benjamin.
Yeah, and if you can't remember the name, you can just go to liveforyourselfconsulting.com as well. So I'd say a lot of my media is on that website too.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. So as we are about to wrap up, Ben, I'd like to ask your experience being a guest on the show. Here's my question. What would you say to your best friend about today's guest experience on the Growth Hacking Secret Show?
I'd say you have to listen. You got to listen to this show. You got to go back and really pay attention, and not just listen while you're working out or cooking or doing some work. Actually pay attention. A lot of times we try to multitask in our own professional and personal growth, and honestly, it doesn't work that well. So focus on yourself, care about yourself, live for yourself, and remember that you're your most important leader. No one else is going to be able to take action for you. So what actions would you like to take today?
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. What would you say as a final word?
Well, I hope to everyone listening that if something is bothering you in terms of, you're feeling stressed or you're feeling stuck and you're not sure what to do next, to take a step back and give yourself a break, and to realize that we're not in a rush, that you get to dictate how you spend your time, where you spend your time, who you spend your time with, get a little bit of autonomy back, and create some space. Step out of the work, give yourself some self-care, and ask yourself, do you really want to be doing what you're doing? And then do one thing that you actually want to do.
One thing what you want to do, that's the key part. So thank you so much, Ben, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.